for the Bhagavad Gita. This screen is sharing?
Yeah.
Okay. Just to give you a quick context. So 7th chapter to 12th chapter is the section of the Bhakti Yoga. And in chapter 7, Krishna is telling Arjuna that I'm finally going to speak to you the most important knowledge. Is it this? Yeah. Okay, so he says, now this knowledge, once you know this knowledge, you have nothing more to know. So in this world, we're all studying, we're all gaining knowledge through different ways. Some by studying in school, some by experience, some by research. In whichever we are trying to gain knowledge. In whichever way, we want to attain the ultimate goal of knowledge. What is the ultimate goal of knowledge? You say Krishna, but people don't know. They just study. Some people think the goal of knowledge is money. Some people think the goal of knowledge is just knowledge. But Krishna says the goal of knowledge is me, to understand me. And that is the purpose of science, philosophy, poetry, research, and whatnot. All kinds of knowledge should lead to understanding Krishna. So in 7th chapter, as Krishna is introducing the Bhakti Yoga section, Krishna is telling Arjuna, now I'm going to give you the essence of all that knowledge, of the most important knowledge, after knowing which there's nothing that remains to be known. And then Krishna first introduces first aspect of knowledge, that is Krishna energies. So what is knowledge? You can remember MSC. MSC is what is knowledge? To know what is matter, to know what is spirit, and C for controller of both. This is knowledge. MSC, to know what is matter, to know what is spirit, and the controller of both. So Krishna tells what is his material energy? Bhumi rapo nalo vayu kham mano buddhire vacha ahankaramiti yamme binna prakritirashtadha. That is the 8 elements: earth, water, fire, air, ether, and mind, intelligence, and ego. They constitute my material energy. And what is spiritual energy? All the living entities, the Jiva Bhuta Mahabaho Yayedam Dharati Jagat. The living entity or the spiritual energy which manipulates the material energy, that is my spiritual energy. And spiritual energy is superior to material energy. And then he talks about himself. That is, he introduced M, which is for material energy, S for spiritual energy, and him, that is C for control of both. Both the energies belong to Krishna. And Krishna says, Matta paratram na anyat kinchidasti dhananjaya. Apart from me, there is no one superior in this world. That means Krishna is establishing his position. And then he says, in this world, everything is running in such an organized fashion, in such a beautiful way, a beautiful arrangement. It's because I am like the thread that holds the pearls together. Pearls are not just, having some attraction amongst them, that they're together. There is a string that holds all the pearls together. So Krishna says, I am that invisible string that is holding all the universes together and all the functionalities that is happening. Sutre Manigana Iva, he says. And then Krishna tells, even for a person, even if someone is very new, how can a new person see Krishna? Krishna says, I'm everywhere in this world through my energies. Maya tatam idam sarvam avyakta jagat avyakta murtina. Jagat avyakta murtina means I am pervading this entire universe through my energies. See, what I'm doing right now is I'm just giving a recap of what we have completed. So don't worry why is Arjun Das going so fast, because we have already discussed in previous classes, but I'm just giving you a context so that we can continue ahead. So Krishna is saying that I'm pervading this material universe through my energies. And how can you experience Krishna? Krishna says, I'm taste of water. Krishna says, I'm light and heat of the sun. He says, I'm the strength of the strong. I'm the intelligence of the intelligent. And like that, so on and so forth. 3-4 verses he says how he can be perceived even by a new person. When you're very thirsty, very tired, and you have nothing else to drink, you just need a glass of water. You drink a glass of water, you can experience Krishna. Isn't it? What taste does water have? Water doesn't have any taste. But still, people, when you drink water, you feel satisfied. Why is it? Why does that happen? Because Krishna says, "Rasoham apsukanteya." I am the taste of water. So he says how he can be perceived in this material world. And after mentioning all this, he says that even though I can be perceived in this material world, still there are people who cannot perceive me. Who are they? They are the ones who are deluded by the material energy, the three modes of material nature. Mohitam na bijanati, Krishna says. One who is in illusion, one who is overcome by Maya, he cannot understand me. But he doesn't stop there. He says, but still it is possible to overcome this illusory energy. How is it possible?
By surrendering.
Sorry? By surrendering to Krishna. Daivihi esha gunamai mama maya duratteya mameva ye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. Krishna says, if you surrender to me, if you follow my advice, then illusory energy becomes very easy to cross over. Otherwise, the ocean of samsara is bigger, wider, deeper than any other ocean in this material world. It's the biggest ocean. And we are all in that ocean. There's no possibility of crossing over. But for one who has surrendered to Krishna, that ocean becomes of the size of water in a calf's hoof print. You can just jump over it. Becomes very easy. So, having said that, Krishna finally says there are four kinds of people who don't surrender to me, and that is today's verse. Did you recite?
Yeah.
And we'll recite again. Okay. Is it legible? Like you can read it?
Yeah. We can.
Yeah. Okay. Namam duskritino mudha
Namamuskritino mudha
prapadyante naradhamaha
prapadyante naradhamaha
mayaya pritagnana
mayaya prithyana
asuram bhavamashitaha.
asuram bhavamashitaha.
Krishna says there are four kinds of people who will never approach me. Probably some people we might know in our office or hostel, wherever we live. Some might belong to these four categories. So Krishna is saying, who are those four categories of people? He says first category is mudha. Mudha means those people who are foolish. Second category is naradhama. Naradhama means the lowest of living entity, the lowest of humans. Nara means human, adhama means low. The lowest of humans or the uncivilized people, they don't surrender to me. Mayaya apirita jnana means those people whose minds or intelligence is stolen by illusion. They cannot surrender to me. And asuram bhavamashitaha, those people who are like atheistic or who have succumbed to demoniac nature, they don't surrender to me. So these are the four. So what we will do today is we'll just discuss these four categories. First one is mudha, second one is naradhama, third one is maya aprita jnana, and fourth one is asuram bhavamashita. So how many of you belong to the first category? Anyone here? Really? But how can you surrender to Krishna?
Trying my best.
So if you're trying, then you're not mudha. It was a trick question. So namam duskritino mudha. Duskritina. Kriti means credit. Kriti means if someone has some intelligence, some skill set, then he is called as kritinaha. That means he has some merit to him. But duskriti means those people who use that intelligence in opposite manner. That is duskriti. Like Duryodhan, when he was born, his name was Suyodhan. But by his activities, he got the most auspicious name of Duryodhan.
Really?
Sorry?
Really?
No, I'm joking. No, of course, really. Yeah, really. Suyodan became Duryodhan. Yeah, by his activities. So similarly, these people who use whatever talent is given by God to oppose the plan of the Lord, they are called as Duskritina. And Srila Prabhupada is now explaining all this in the purport. So first one is Mudha. Mudha means one who is very foolish. Why is he considered foolish? He is considered foolish because he wastes all his time for something very petty, something which is temporary, something which is taken away tomorrow, something which cannot save you at the time of death. But all your life is spent for that object. Isn't it foolish? And therefore, such category of people are rightly called as Mudha. And the example given is that of a donkey. So donkey goes, he works very hard for a washerman. And donkey carries huge load of clothes for the washerman. What is he getting in return? Does he get anything in return from the washerman? He does.
A morsel of grass.
No, grass is there otherwise also. Without working for a washerman also he has grass. But he gets something very special. Beating? No one works for beating. Huh? You guys have never seen a donkey? I had never seen a donkey, but when I was working in Bangalore, I saw.
I've seen.
I've seen a donkey and a washerman. The donkey sometimes works so hard just because there's a carrot kept dangling in front of him, but at a distance that he cannot eat it. So now this donkey and all the other donkeys, family donkeys, are saying, "My dear, donkey, please come back. There's fresh green grass lying all around. Why are you wasting time for one carrot? Just be satisfied with green grass." But he says, "My prospects, my future is very bright. All I have to do is take one step." That's how it starts, with one step. Now, he is not a donkey with, who is freely moving. So when Dobiwala, he puts a carrot dangling in front of the donkey, he also puts a huge load of clothes. And as he's carrying this load of clothes, he is thinking, all I have to do is just take one step. And he is thinking, look at these other foolish donkeys. They are actually Mudha. I am very smart. Why? Because they don't know that why one step I'm able to get this carrot. So what does this donkey do? He takes his first step. Does he get the carrot?
No.
What happens to the carrot?
Keeps on dangling in front of him.
No, also moves one step.
Yeah.
So he feels that I was about to get it, but now it seems that I'm just close to it. I just need to take one more step. And definitely with this one step, I'm going to get that carrot. And with the second step, what happens to the carrot?
So run another step.
Carrot moves again one step. But he has hope against hope. Today, I am going to sleep after eating the carrot only. And all the donkeys are still waiting for him. If you can still come back, grass is still there. But this donkey says, no, I'm extra smart. So he takes one more step and carrot moves one more step, and he takes further steps and carrot moves further steps. And finally, this Dobiwala is coolly having his clothes taken to the river. And over there, he washes all his clothes and puts the wet clothes on the donkey. Now, wet clothes are lighter or heavier? Heavier. But still, this donkey has not lost his hope to get the carrot. And he again brings back the donkey with the heavy clothes. And donkey still has hope against hope that one day or at some point in time I'm going to have my carrot. Finally, when he comes, it's already dead of night. And finally, when the carrot is given to him, sometimes it's even rotted. So all that he worked for throughout the day was for a rotten piece of carrot. Better he would have been satisfied with green grass. So such donkey, you stop him and say, why don't you do something useful in life? He says, don't disturb me. I'm on a special mission. And this is the response we get when we even stop people in New York City. We say, why don't you study the Bhagavad Gita? They say, I have no time. I have time for every damn thing in this world except studying Bhagavad Gita. And what are those damn things in this world they're busy with? They're all busy with something that is temporary, and that which cannot give them lasting happiness. Isn't it? That is the nature of things which are temporary. Adi antavanta kantaya nateshu ramate buddha. Krishna says in the 5th chapter that those people who are very intelligent, they don't work towards objects or things which has no everlasting fulfillment. I mean, which doesn't give everlasting fulfillment. They don't work towards it. If they see that something is very temporary, you don't work for it. Why work so hard for that which is going to be stripped away from you tomorrow? Isn't it? If I tell you, why don't you do this very important course on AI? But as soon as you get the degree, next day I'm going to take it away from you and tear it. Will you work hard? Because you're able to see that it's temporary. So, but the nature of these people belonging to the Muda category is that they cannot see that these things are temporary. Like this foolish donkey. This foolish donkey could not see that I will never get this carrot. Or even by the time I would get this carrot, it would have been rotten. So unfortunately, they waste their entire life working for something that is petty. And at the time of death, what all things you will lose?
Everything.
Everything? You will lose everything that you've worked hard for, including your huge bungalow estate in New Jersey.
Except one thing.
What is that?
The number of times we have chanted Krishna.
Okay, you don't lose that, huh? Yeah, if you've chanted, you will not lose it. So people, they generally work hard towards those things which are anyway going to be lost. And therefore, behaving like a donkey, they're called as Mudha. So that is, such people never take out time to understand God. They don't want to question life. What is the goal of life? Why am I here in this material world? What will happen after I die? These questions never come to them because they're so busy running behind a carrot. And therefore, spiritual progress is only possible when we are satisfied with material life. Till the time we are running behind the glitter and glamour of this material world, spiritual life is very far-fetched. You can never catch hold of spiritual life. You can never catch hold of what's the real goal of life because you're so busy thinking carrot to be the goal of your life. And therefore, the first category of Duskritina is Mudha, who can never surrender to Krishna because no time. Example are the fruitive workers, the karmis, not karma yogis, karmis. Karmis means they are busy working hard to get something in return. They are continuously thinking how I can put more effort and double my profit. How I can put more effort and triple my profit. In this way, they waste all their time. These karmis, they just waste the human form of life. So that is Mudha. We will quickly read Prabhupada's purport to it and then we will proceed ahead. Yeah. Who has the mic? Can read.
The Mudas are those who are grossly foolish, like hard-working beasts of burden. They want to enjoy the fruits of their labor by themselves and so do not want to part with them for the supreme. The typical example of the beast of burden is the ass. This humble beast is made to work very hard by his master. The ass does not really know for whom he works so hard day and night. He remains satisfied by filling his stomach with a bundle of grass, sleeping for a while under fear of being beaten by his master, and satisfying his sex appetite at the risk of being repeatedly kicked by the opposite party.
That means the donkeys, or you can say the fruitive workers in this material world. Fruitive workers means those people who have a lot of hope that this material world is going to give me enjoyment. They are called as the fruitive workers. So they're constantly putting efforts to somehow or the other enjoy this material world. So these people, even though they are beaten with so much of suffering, still they put aside all that and they think, I'm going to be happy one day. That's why they're called foolish. It's like you're struggling in a desert. And that point in time when you're thinking, when you are thinking that probably there's something more to life. This material world is not going to give me happiness. There's so much suffering. At that time, someone comes and gives you a drop of water. And when you put that drop of water in your mouth, what do you get? What thought do you get? You feel there is hope of one more drop. Just imagine what is the ratio. This much amount of suffering and one drop of water. Is it worth it? Yes? No? Are you sure? I don't think you guys are sure. So much amount of suffering for a drop of water. It is not at all worth it. And then finally, when you get a drop of water, if everything is bad, then you start questioning life. So what Maya does, she gives one little something good to happen. Then you feel, okay, it's not bad after all. There's some hope to this material world. Then again you start suffering like anything. And again what Maya does is, as soon as you start thinking about, what is the goal of life, I should read the Bhagavad Gita. Then she gives you small other drop. Something good will happen. Just to distract you. And therefore this the donkey is also like that. What does it do? Finally it eats only grass or a rotten carrot. And it's when it sleeps, it cannot sleep with peace. And it is said even for sex life, when the male donkey tries to unite with the female donkey, the female donkey first kicks the male donkey. But the male donkey still tries for it. So after getting kicked, he's satisfied that finally I had some sexual pleasure. Prabhupada is saying it, not my example. Isn't it? So this is male donkey. See, all of you are laughing. But what if we are that male donkey? Isn't it? So therefore, we should not be mudha, foolish. We should understand what is the goal of life. Where should my effort go? And therefore, Prabhupada mentions towards the end, see, the karmis don't understand karma is meant for yajna. What does that mean? Nehayat karma dharmaya na viragaya kalpate. When you do any action, it should be for the purpose of dharma. Dharma means? Anyone knows what dharma means? The laws of God. Okay. Something more? Pleasure of Krishna. What is dharma?
Something that you are supposed to do without it becoming
Righteous thing. Okay, the dharma of the soul is to love and serve God. So when our karma is not in line with dharma, or you can say when we do karma, it should be to fulfill dharma. And fulfilling dharma should lead to renunciation from the material world. And that renunciation means detachment from the objects of pleasure from this world. Otherwise, that karma is binding. Yajnata karmano nitya lokoyam karma bandhanaha. If karma is not done for Vishnu, then that karma binds you further. Like quicksand. More you struggle in quicksand, more you go deeper. You have to be very relaxed. Even in swimming in water, more you struggle and panic, more you go down. More you're peaceful, you float up. This material world is also like that. More you try to work hard, trying to satisfy one's own senses, more you get entangled. More you try to please Krishna, more you get disentangled. So therefore, the purpose of work is not simply to fulfill our senses satisfaction, but the purpose of work is to please God. Okay, can you read from here? Who was reading? Most often,
those who work very hard day and night to clear the burden of self-created duties say that they have no time to hear of the immortality of the living being. To such mudas, material gains which are destructible are life's all in all. Despite the fact that the mudas enjoy only a very small fraction of the fruit of labor, sometimes they spend sleepless days and nights for fruitive gain. And although they may have ulcers or indigestion, they are satisfied with practically no food. They are simply absorbed in working hard day and night for the benefit of illusory matters.
This is their joy. The joy is just be a workaholic. You'll be worshipped by other karmis. The king donkey is worshipped by other donkeys. So even when we work very hard, some people work so hard they will skip food. They will suffer indigestion, get ulcers because they're not eating on time, they're not sleeping properly, they get headaches, but still they continue to work. But for what end? What are you going to get out of it? One of you may say, Prabhu, I'm going to get money, I'm going to get a job. But that's not all in all. Will your struggle end as soon as you get a job? How many of you say yes? Really? Will your struggle end? Before getting a job, there is struggle. After getting a job, also there is struggle. And in case you didn't know, there's always struggle in the material world. So yes, some things we have to do with our material life. We have to maintain our material life. But at the same time, we cannot make material life the goal of life. We know some things are done just for papi pet ka sawal. But the main goal should be to understand who Krishna is, to love and serve God. Okay, continue.
Ignorant of their real master, the foolish workers waste their valuable time serving mammon. Unfortunately, they never surrendered to the supreme master of all masters.
Yeah. And finally, the foolish worker will untiringly continue to hear of sense enjoyable tidings of the flickering mundane world, but will have very little time to hear about the eternal living force that moves the material world. That means they have all the time to hear news, all the time to hear mundane gossip, chatting, hours together, talking, and movies and songs. They spend so much time, but to hear Bhagavad Gita, how many people come? And therefore they're called as Mudha. And the second class of Duskriti, they are called as Naradhama. What does Naradhama mean? Naradhama means those people who are not civilized. In the Vedic tradition, for civilization, for the purpose of civilization, there is something called as samskaras. Ever heard of that? Samskaras? There's 10 samskaras or 16 samskaras, 64 samskaras. There are many samskaras. Samskaras means we try to be civilized. Civilization means you are taught how to speak with others, how to behave in this world, how to deal with seniors, how to deal with juniors, how to deal with peers. Everything is samskara. In your own classroom, you would have noticed there are some students who are very well behaved, whereas there's some backbenchers who don't give a, they don't care for what is being taught. Rather, behind the teacher's back, they're laughing at the teacher and making jokes of the teacher, isn't it? Now we all can understand who is civilized, who is not civilized. So civilization is actually directed by the Vedic scriptures. So Prabhupada is saying there are totally 8.4 million species, out of which there are 400,000 species of human beings based on consciousness. So Naradhama means people who don't care to utilize the human form of life. If I give you something valuable, say I give you Tesla car and it's fully charged, brand new, but you never use it. So what will your friend call you? Naradhama. The lowest of mankind. Because you have got something very prestigious, very precious. You can attain the perfection of your life, that is the human form of life, but you're not utilizing for the purpose it is meant for. So therefore, one becomes Naradhama. And uncivilized means one doesn't know how to behave in society. One is eating anything that lives. One is the habits. One is cultivating bad habits due to bad association. Like for example, Chanakya Pandit gives the symptoms of a learned person. He says a learned person is one who is matravat paradareshu. He sees women other than one's wife as mother. Second, matravat paradareshu paradravyeshu laushtravat. He sees the wealth that doesn't belong to one as trash. That doesn't mean you'd see your friend's phone and you trash it. But I have nothing to give and take with it. That is paradravyeshu laushtravat. And then he atmavat sarvabhuteshu. That means how he wants to be treated, he will treat others. When you go to your friend's home, how do you want to be treated? With some warmth, with some smiling face, not a groaning face that why this fellow has come to my home at this time, isn't it? You want him to receive you nicely. Similarly, when someone else comes to your home, how will you behave? In a way how you want to be treated. He says, Sa pashyati apanditaha. Ya pashyati sapanditaha. One who behaves in this way, such a person is called a learned person, pandita. Similarly, Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains, Vidya vinaya sampanne brahmane gavyahastini shuni chaiva shpakicha pandita samadarshana. Pandita, a learned person, is one who can see all the living entities equally, because he doesn't see the external body, but he sees the soul sitting inside the driver of the body. So he doesn't. It doesn't matter to him Indian, Pakistani. It doesn't matter to him Russia, Ukraine. If someone is Arab or someone is American, African. No, he understands all living entities are the part and parcel of Krishna. And or some people are humanitarians. That means they don't mind humans, but they do mind other living entities. I respect all human beings, but I cut the throat of a cow. That's not civilized behavior. The cow is also part and parcel of Krishna. In a cow's body, different vehicle. Or you see some insects. As soon as you see a cockroach, some people go and stamp on the cockroach and kill it, smash it to death. That's not civilized behavior. Or you find a mosquito in the air and you smash it in your hands. That's not civilized behavior. So civilized behavior, when someone doesn't utilize this human form of life to cultivate civilized behavior by undergoing the rules and regulations given in Shastra, such a person is called as Naradha. In the Shastra, in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna tells Arjuna, when you have this human body, what you should do, the austerities of the body. He says, when you find a superior, you have to offer obeisances to your superiors. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna, isn't it? To the demigods, offer obeisances. Deva Dvija, to the Brahmanas, to the teachers and gurus, one should offer obeisances. One should not make fun of them. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna. And what else? Austerity of the body. So in 17th chapter, Krishna explains austerities of the body. We'll just take it out. Oh, yeah, let me show it to you. Yeah. So worship of the Supreme Lord. One utilizes his human form of life to worship Krishna. The Brahmanas and the spiritual master and superiors. Everyone he is offering respects. And father and mother, he offers respects. He knows how to treat superiors. And he keeps his body clean. That means daily taking bath. External cleanliness and internal cleanliness. External cleanliness, you maintain external cleanliness by cleaning all the 9 holes of the body and taking bath regularly. And internal cleanliness you maintain by maintaining your connection with Krishna. Chanting Hare Krishna, hearing about Krishna helps you maintain internal cleanliness. Otherwise, external cleanliness without internal cleanliness is simply a farce. You're not really clean. Once I was in a flight somewhere, maybe Atlanta to Florida somewhere, and there was this gentleman, American gentleman with a suit, boot, tie and everything, nicely gelled hair, lot of perfume. And he was sitting. We generally don't watch movies as devotees, but he was sitting in a seat which I could see his television, a television screen. So we don't watch movies, but sometimes the eyes falls on what others are watching. And then I saw this guy was so clean, like spotless white shirt and everything. But then when he turned on the television, he was watching a show which was so R-rated, so bad. So I was thinking, what value does his external cleanliness really have? Because internally he's dirty, isn't it? Sometimes we can portray ourselves as externally clean, but internally we have envy, we have lust, we have anger, we have greed. This is all dirt. Aham mamabhimanottaihi kamalobhadabil malaihi. It's all mentioned to be dirt in the heart. So therefore, when you have a human form of life, you have to learn to be clean. And that internal cleanliness means to keep Krishna there. Krishna cannot be present in a dirty place. If you want to place Krishna in on the pedestal of your heart, you have to clean the heart. And that cleaning of the heart happens by chanting Hare Krishna. So external, internal cleanliness. Simplicity. Simplicity means not to be overcome by the show of glamour. Generally, the way we dress is mostly sometimes to show others. It is mostly for others' satisfaction. Something want to show how luxurious I am or how rich I am by wearing certain type of clothes or wearing certain type of brands. Simplicity means you don't worry about it. You have clothes on your body sufficient. I'm not saying wear torn clothes. Nowadays that is also fashion. Anything you do, it becomes fashion trend. But simplicity means you're not going around trying to showcase yourself. Simplicity means you're just covering your body for the sake of covering your body. And simple in your dealings. You're not showing that you are greater than someone else just because you're smart. You don't have to show it. If just because you're rich, you don't have to show it. Just because God has given you something, you don't have to mock the people who don't have it. It's all simplicity. And celibacy. Celibacy means mental purity. Celibacy means no sex outside marriage or before marriage. That is celibacy. And by following celibacy, one's mind becomes very sharp. And today, that is the reason why the mind is not sharp. In the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is explained the Kali Yuga Vasis have very special qualities. It is said, Prayana alpayusha sabhya kalavasmin yuge janaha manda sumanda matayo manda bhagyahi upadutaha. That's the symptoms of Kali Yuga Vasis. It's all of us. It is said, Prayana alpayusha sabhya means we have very short lives to live. Followed by which? Manda, not very smart. I mean, sorry if anyone feels an offense. But we are not very smart because how many of you remember 10 phone numbers? Actually, before mobile phone came, before we had iPhone and all that, at least 10, 15 years ago, we could have remembered 10 phone numbers. You remember 10 phone numbers? I'm going to test you. You can say any number because I don't know those numbers. Sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we may not know our own father's number. You have to check it on the phone. Sometimes I meet so many people, I forget. I find a familiar face, but I forget the name. Because Manda, dull-headed. Manda sumanda matayo. That means no understanding of what is the goal of life. Sumanda matayo. Manda bhagya means unfortunate. Unfortunate means even if you have long life, even if you are very smart, but the obstacles in your life doesn't help you to make progress in spiritual life. Simply obstacles keep coming in Kali Yuga. And therefore, Manda Bhagya. And even if obstacles don't come, mind is always disturbed. Upadutaha. By so much breaking news everywhere. And breaking news is every day. Every day, 8 p.m., some breaking news will be there. So therefore, celibacy, why was I saying this? I was... no, not sure. I was talking about celibacy.
And people are like not smart in your
Yeah, I was saying correct. I was saying why people are not smart in Kali Yuga because of bad habits, because they don't practice celibacy. When we practice celibacy, immediately the virya of the body, which is said to be the essence of all that we eat, goes to the brain to nourish the brain, and then one becomes very smart. Smart, I'm not talking about IQ. That is not real smartness. Just because I'm technically smart. Smart means you can see through the illusion to understand what is the goal of life. You can, your intelligence is called as Viveka Buddhi. Viveka Buddhi means very sharp intelligence. You can make very good decisions in life. This is all by celibacy. One becomes very sharp. One becomes Shrutidhar. Shrutidhar means whatever you hear, you remember. And therefore, the prior ages, before Kali Yuga, the knowledge was transferred by speaking. They will just recite the verses and the student hears by hearing. He doesn't have to write down. Kali Yuga, you have to write down. Even if someone says, I'm Shrutidhar, you tell them, still you write down. Because I'm not confident. Kali Yuga symptoms are different. and therefore celibacy, and you also maintain purity of the body. Body is pure, so that is celibacy. And non-violence. Non-violence means not just not harming other living entities, especially not for eating them. Non-violence also means not to speak in a way that is hurting to others, being sensitive. Non-violence also means not to act in a way that is pulling down others. Sometimes you want to use sarcasm, because sarcasm is like putting salt on the wound, isn't it? Say, for example, you want to go for prasadam, and then this person just before you, he took the last part, and then you will say, I think you must be very hungry because you have taken all the prasadam, something like that. It's like one way of speech that can really pinch the ego. So that is non-violence, that is violence, isn't it? So like that is austerity of body. And austerity of speech is speaking words that are truthful, pleasing, beneficial, but not agitating to others, and always reciting shlokas, Vedic literature. And austerities of the mind is mind should be satisfied with what God has given us. Otherwise, if mind is not satisfied, you can earn $1 billion. You think you'll be satisfied? You will want $1 more billion. There's no end to it. Therefore, satisfaction. Then simplicity of the mind. Gravity of the mind means some people like to laugh in the situations where you should not laugh. Have you found such people? They simply laugh. Like our Draupadi, when Duryodhana came to Indraprastha, he thought it was land, but it was water, this like illusion. So he fell inside, and Draupadi giggled. And that is why he took that, he wanted to take revenge. And then later on, that disturbing of Draupadi took place. Why? Because she giggled. So one has to be very careful. That means gravity of mind. Don't simply laugh. Especially in serious situations, you feel like laughing. Isn't it? How many of you have this problem? Yeah? Okay. Be careful. Otherwise, your case will become like Draupadi's. And self-control and purification of one's existence are the austerities of mind. Okay. Okay. And all these austerities are to be performed for the sake of the Supreme Lord. Okay, just going back. So therefore, people who don't practice all this, they just live life like animals. Deluxe edition of animals. Like they look like human beings, but nature is animalistic. So then such people are actually called as Naradama. Isn't it? Okay, we will not read because we almost are out of time. Yeah. See, Prabhupada is saying the Dashasam Samskara, the 10 process of reformatory ceremonies are enjoined in the Manusmriti, which is the guide to religious principles, are meant for reviving God consciousness in the system of Varnashma. That means what? Why do we follow these samskaras? Because by following them, we attain sattva. In sattva, you can think about God. There will be attraction for these things. In Rajas and Tamas, we cannot understand God. We are literally fighting one another for sustenance. Prabhupada says, since no process is strictly followed now in any part of the world, therefore 99.9% of population is, yeah. So we want to belong to 0.01%. 0.1, sorry, yeah. I was just checking if you're awake. Okay. And of course, the hope is when we hear Krishna Katha, when we connect ourselves to Krishna, immediately you go beyond Muda, Naradhama, Maya, Apratagyana, and Asaram Bhava Mashataha. And the third one is, yeah, you want to ask something? Okay. So the third class of Duskriti is Mayaya Apratagyana. Those people whose intelligence is stolen away by Maya, illusion. That means Prabhupada gives examples of philosophers, all the learned people, the philosophers, poets, literati, scientists, etc. But because they have this intelligence, the problem is they're misguided by illusion. Who has the mic? Can you read? Okay,
There are a great number of Mayaya Pahrita Jnana at the present moment, even amongst the scholars of the Bhagavad Gita. In the Gita, in plain and simple language, it is stated that Sri Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. There is none equal to or greater than him. He is mentioned as father of Brahma, the original father of all human beings. In fact, Sri Krishna is said to be not only the father of Brahma, but also the father of all species of life. He is the root of the impersonal Brahman and Paramatma. The super soul in every entity is his plenary portion. He is the fountainhead of everything, and everyone is advised to surrender unto his lotus feet.
And despite all these clear statements, what do?
Despite all these clear statements, the Mayaya Pahrita Jnana deride the personality of the Supreme Lord, and consider him merely another human being.
Yeah, that means they don't accept Krishna as God. Or they think that Krishna, who came 5,000 years ago, to be an ordinary person. Or they say, if God exists, why can't I see him? Or can you prove scientifically, can you prove mathematically, can you prove physically that God exists? These are the questions they ask. If God exists, then I should be able to see him. So all these things they try to put logical questions. So it is like one very famous politician. He said, when he was asked about Krishna dancing with the gopis, because he was carrying Gita everywhere. So the politician said, if that is true, that Krishna is dancing with unmarried girls, then I don't accept him as God. Why? Because he applied his intelligence on God. He thought God will fit in his intelligence. If God fits in his intelligence, then that person is not God. Isn't it? Actually, with our intelligence, we cannot even understand another person or to talk about the supreme person. Isn't it? And God cannot be understood by God himself. When Krishna sees the Chintamani floor in the spiritual world, he sees his beautiful form. He is thinking, who is this beautiful guy? Isn't it? He gets bewildered by his beauty. So when God cannot understand himself, what to talk about the scientists? And therefore, those people who try to understand God using their box of logic or box of morality, they are called as Maya Apahrita Jnana. Their knowledge is stolen away by illusion. Yeah, can you read this?
All the unauthorized interpretations of the Gita by the class of Mayaya Parita Jnana outside the purview of the Parampara system are so many stumbling blocks on the path of spiritual understanding.
Yeah, that means here the Prabhupada is pointing out to so many interpreters who give interpretations based on their own speculation. Like some people say Ravana was a good guy. After all, he did not touch Sita. Isn't it? At least he waited for some permission from Ram. Why did Ravana not touch Sita? Because he was cursed. If he would touch any woman forcefully, he would be burnt to ashes. Therefore, he did not touch. But there are so many philosophers, Maya Pratajnana, who philosophize the goodness of Ravana. Or even sometimes Karna also. If someone reads Mahabharat, actual Mahabharat, then they will understand. Except Mahabharat, we read everything else. Nowadays, even Amish Patel has written Shiva trilogy. Like this, many books on Sita are also coming. That is also written by him. Amish Tripathi. Yeah. So now these are many are not true stories. I would say let any writer come forth and make one book on Allah. He will not live to see another day. Isn't it? But in Sanatan Dharma, you can make any book on any god and we are very accommodative. Isn't it? In Radha Krishna serial, when Radha and Krishna are dealing so whimsically, what is the conception that the audience gets? Then therefore they like Krishna and Radha very much. Not that they get a very Haribo. Not that they get some reverential understanding of the Supreme Lord. They get a boy-girl relationship, that's all. So those people who watch that Radha Krishna serial, they have they will get no devotion out of it. Because all the stories are made up. All made up stories. And who, at least if pure devotee makes up, it's fine. Who makes up these stories? Another, materialistically minded people. So therefore, Maya Aprita Jnana means those people also who use the intelligence to try to interpret Krishna's words. One very famous person, he interpreted the Bhagavad Gita, and he said, when Krishna says that, uh, which one? Sarvasya chahamradi sannivishto. No, he says that Sarva Dharman Paritijya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. You should surrender to me. So now this person is writing his commentary, and his commentary is saying that Krishna is not saying to surrender to him, but he says try to surrender to the Brahman, impersonal Brahman that is residing or speaking through Krishna. Where Krishna said that? Krishna says Sarva Dharman Paritijya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. But then they misinterpret it. So these are all Maya Aprita Jnana. Those people whose intelligence is bewildered by illusion. Or they have so much faith in science. More faith in science than spirituality. So they cannot accept the transcendental nature of Krishna. And the last one is Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha. Who has the mic? Yeah, fourth one.
The last class of Dushkriti is called Ashuram Bhavam Ashrita, or those of demonic principles. This class is openly atheistic. Some of them argue that the Supreme Lord can never descend upon this material world, but they are unable to give any tangible reasons as to why not. There are others who make him subordinate to the impersonal feature, although the opposite is declared in the Gita. Envious of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the atheist will present a number of illicit incarnations manufactured in the factory of his brain. Such persons, whose very principle of life is to decry the personality of Godhead, cannot surrender unto the lotus feet of
Yeah.
Sri Krishna.
So the problem with these atheistic, basically Asam Bhavam Ashritaha means envious people who are atheistic. They will not accept God. They will present all arguments to say that God doesn't exist. You know why God should not exist for them? Because if God does exist, then they have to follow laws of God. So they say God doesn't exist, then I can do whatever the hell I want in this world. So therefore, such atheistic, envious people are called as Asuram Bhavamashritaha, and they decry the existence of God. Yeah, next.
Sri Yamunacharya Alabandru of South India said, O my Lord, you are unknowable to persons involved with atheistic principles, despite your uncommon qualities, features, and activities, despite your personalities being confirmed by all the revealed scriptures in the quality of goodness, and despite your being acknowledged by the famous authorities renowned for their depth of knowledge in the transcendental science and situated in the godly qualities. That was so much.
Yeah, so many. So Krishna cannot be known by such people who are atheistic, envious of God. Okay. So therefore, the grossly foolish persons, the lowest of mankind, Naradhama, the deluded speculators who try to make up their own theories, and the professed atheists who are envious of God and therefore they don't accept the existence of God. These are the four kinds of people who never surrender to Krishna. And next time what we will discuss is Krishna says the four kinds of people who come to surrender to Krishna. And we all will fit there. Krishna says Chaturvidha bhajante mam jana sukritino arjuna arto jignasu arthati jnani cha bharatrishabha. Four kinds of people who come to surrender to me are, first one is artho. Artho means those people who are distressed. Those people who are not able to tolerate the sufferings in the material world. Being pious by nature, they turn towards Krishna. And therefore those sufferings are not really sufferings, they are blessings in disguise. Because they turn toward Krishna. Artho. Artho, Jignasu. Jignasu are those people who are just inquisitive. What is there in this Bhagavad Gita? They are not really eager to make spiritual progress, but they're just curious. They're Jignasu. And Artharthi means those in want of wealth. How many of you have come here today to hear Bhagavad Gita in want of wealth? Really? In want of wealth? job. And last one is Jnani. Jnani is one who comes to Krishna to make spiritual progress. And the further verse 717, Krishna says, of all the four kinds of people, Jnani is the best, who come to him to make spiritual progress. So 7th chapter is very, very interesting. And of course, after this section, then Krishna, something people don't like. Krishna establishes his supremacy and says that people who don't worship him but other demigods instead of him, they are not very intelligent. Kamais teste hritagnyana. He says hritagnyana. Those people who worship demigods just so that they can get some success, they are all less intelligent. He says that section comes. And many other further verses are there. So in future classes we will see. Maybe in 1-2 minutes, if anyone has any question or if you want to share any reflection, or anyone online also, if you have any question to ask, you can ask. Okay, so was it understandable? Yeah. So who are the four classes? What are the four classes of people who don't surrender to Krishna? Who can say all the four? No, not.
The foolish.
Yes, foolish.
I think maybe I won't remember.
Okay, no problem. We can try.
The uncivilized first class.
Okay, uncivilized.
The atheist.
Okay, the atheist. And one more before the atheist.
Illusion by
Whose
Maya.
intelligence is absorbed by
Yeah, well, deluded by illusion. Yeah, thank you. Deluded speculators. They are also, they cannot surrender to Krishna. What example did we speak for Mudha, the foolish class? Donkey. You can remember a donkey, but won't become donkey. Some people work so hard, sometimes I see 2 years and one tail coming out. They have almost become a donkey. Don't work so hard for something that's going to be lost tomorrow. And then for Naradhama, uncivilized, what did we discuss? The backbenchers. Okay, yeah, backbenchers. And some good people also, there's backbenchers.
Not interested in spiritual knowledge.
They are interested in all of them are not interested in spiritual knowledge. But what about Naradhama?
they don't have sanskar.
They don't have sanskar. They don't have good training. They have not practiced any good habits. Good. Something more. Thak thak thak. You should speak.
The austerities
Yeah.
we discussed.
We discuss austerities. So people should be trained in performing austerities of the body. What are some of the austerities of the body?
Cleanliness.
Being clean. Being clean where?
Celibacy.
External, internal cleanliness. Okay, then celibacy. Celibacy. Simplicity. Offering respect to Krishna, Guru, and superiors like Guru, mother and father, parents, and everything. Yeah, good. And austerities of, then comes mind. What are the austerities of the mind?
Thinking that others are
Sorry.
thinking others' wealth is like trash.
Okay, yeah, that also we discussed as a symptom of a learned person. Yeah, Atmavat Paradravyesh Loshtravat, Chanakya says. Good. Okay, any other point? I think austerities of mind and speech we just read through, so I'll excuse that.
Mine was like considering other women as mothers.
You want to be treated as
This is the definition of a learned man said by Chanakya Pandit. So, but it comes under this. So, all 3 points. One mentioned. Okay. Then anything else? I'm not satisfied. One more something else. Internal cleanliness. What is that, Prabhu? Internal. That you get into what should be you? What should you be clean of?
Like ego, lust, anger, greed, all of those bad qualities that we have.
Very good. Envy also. Very. Okay. Then third one is Maya Apritagnana. What is the example for Maya Apritagnana? Scientists, philosophers, anyone who uses the intelligence to oppose the existence of God, or they doubt, does God exist? They try to fit Krishna in a logical box or morality box.
Also make fake stories or however.
Yeah, they speculate. They speculate about God. Correct. Very good. And last one is Asuram Bhavam Ashritaha, atheistic people. For and give maybe any good example. You can get an example of Richard Dawkins. He has his book. I think it's called God Devolution. It has a record for people who have read it. They have become atheistic. Yeah. But of course, I don't mind reading it. I read it. I went to Barnes and Noble and I picked up this God Devolution book. Was there Richard Dawkins? So I was just skimming through it. He has a picture over there. A tiger running towards a deer, chasing a deer, and he puts a question as a caption of the picture. His question is, now if the tiger catches the deer and kills the deer, that means God is not protecting the deer. If the tiger doesn't catch the deer and deer escapes, that means God is not protecting the tiger. How is that possible? Therefore, God doesn't exist. Envious, simply envious. So, like this, he has many arguments. If you hear further, you might not come for next Bhagavad Gita class. But of course, it is very. It's not a deep question. It is a very foolish question because Krishna has created this material world and set it into motion. And what is happening is law of karma is taking place. So things in this world is happening by law of karma. So anyway, he is not aware of it.
I don't have a question, I have a reflection.
Yeah,
Like
sure.
the 4 kinds of people that you said. I think for me it's hard to categorize people into those specific boxes because we all have a part of that in us.
Mhm.
In the next chapter, like a part of us is jnani, a part of us is distressed, a part
Yeah.
of us wants
You
back.
can say predominantly you might be one. Like even in Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, we have characteristics of all sometimes. Predominantly Shudra, but but we have characteristics of all. But predominantly someone likes to teach. Predominantly someone likes to be part of administration. Predominantly one likes to do business. Predominantly one likes to work hard with his body. So like that. It's predominantly what? There will always be some overlap. Yeah.
But mostly, a lot of them comes with the distress along with the inquisitiveness. But how do they reach to the 4th stage, which is the
Jnani.
Jnani?
So when they come to Krishna, then yes, initially whatever reason they might come to, as they read the Bhagavad Gita and get faith that Krishna is ultimate protector, Krishna will take care of everything, then gradually as they get purified and develop faith in Krishna, then they no more come to temple for being distressed. They come to temple to serve God.
So it happens along the way when you
Yeah,
practice.
yeah. As they take up some spiritual practice.
Are there people who directly come with a
Very rare. I will tell you, there's one sannyasi in our movement. His name is Bhakti Vikas Swami. He went to the temple in London for the first time. Maybe I think 19-year-old boy. He went to the temple, picked up the beast, started chanting 16 rounds from day one. Anyone here like that? You have to tell Hari Baba, if some increase. You're doing one from last 3 years. Still not increasing. So, our Bhakti Vikas Maharaj just picked up 16 rounds. Not ordinary. So like that. And what before that? What you said?
That's the question. Like generally, I came through the first 2 mix of first 2.
Yeah.
So, most
So
of them come.
in Shastra, there's one example. Aditi. Aditi is the mother of Indra. And then what had happened is, she wanted to take revenge because Indra was defeated or something. She wanted to take revenge on the demons. So she went to Kashyapa, she satisfied him, she was behaving in a very pleasing way. And finally Kashyapa said, okay, my dear wife, I can do anything for you. She said, I want a child that will kill. No, this is Diti. Yeah, that's the thing. Diti. So she became inimical towards Indra. So Kashyapa has 2 wives, Diti, Aditi. Diti is the mother of demons, Aditi is mother of demigods. So Diti became inimical towards Indra because he defeated the demons and took the charge of the universe. So Diti satisfied Kashyapa with all her, pleasing ways, And then Kashyapa succumbed and he told Diti, my dear Diti, I can do anything for you. And that time Diti said, I want a son who will kill Indra. Then Kashyapa, he understood, what did I just do? How can I? And in those days, promises were serious, not like today. So he had to keep his promise. So what he did, he said, okay, I will give you a son, but first you follow, what is it called? Pumsavana Vrata. There's one Vrata is mentioned in Bhagavatam. Huh? What? Pumsavan Vrata. To get a baby it is. But before that, you purify yourself. So what is a Pumsavana Vrata? Basically, you're meditating on Krishna. So he said, you meditate on Krishna, you follow this process, and finally I will give you a child, and your desires will be fulfilled. So she started following that Vrata. And finally, Indra heard about it, that Diti is performing some severe austerities to get a child who will kill Indra. So as it was a 12-day Vrata, at the end of the 12th day, Indra entered the womb of Diti. He took his sword inside and he cut the baby into 7 portions. And all the seven portions, they started telling Indra, please don't kill us, we are devotees, don't kill us. But then each portion he cut into further 7. So that became 49. Again they were begging Indra not to kill. And then he understood, actually they are not demons, they are all devotees. So how did Diti give birth to devotees? Diti is mother of demons. But she gave birth to devotees because of the Vrata. And now when she gave birth, that time along with 49 Maruts, there are the 49 Maruts who are all devotees, came Indra also from the womb, because Indra was also there. And then Indra saw Diti, Diti saw Indra. But Diti was no more inimical. It is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam, when Diti saw Indra, she felt motherly love for him. And Indra also lost all his inimical attitude towards Diti. How? Because they performed devotional service. So whatever excuse, whatever reason you might come to temple, for example, some people come, honestly speaking, for prasadam. They come to temple for prasadam. Some people come to temple for good friends. Some people come to temple for good knowledge, which is very rare, but they come. Some people exist like that. But they still come to temple. Some people just to take shelter of the Lord because the material heat is too much. So whatever reason they might come to temple for, at the end of the day, by practicing devotional service, they purify the intention. Finally, they end up serving Krishna. Yeah? I think that is to tell me is sufficient. So now we will just chant. How many of you have not done chanting before? All of you know how to chant? Okay, very good.